If you want to know more about United States Army medals, badges, and insignia from the Revolution to today, we've been publishing these books for over 30 years. And this is our latest edition. It's available for you on Amazon, but it could be in your house in 2 or 3 days. Hello and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. Glad to have you here today because we're going to continue our series of looking at the combat divisions in World War II that fought in the European theater. And today is an especially interesting and unique division, the 10th Mountain Division, which began life in World War I as a 10th Infantry Division, but it never made it to Europe, and it was deactivated. Then in, 1939, when the Soviet Union invaded Finland, 2 of their armored divisions got wiped out by, Danish ski troops. And believe it or not, the president of a national ski patrol went to General Marshall and said, we need a mountain division that can handle skiers and cold climate, and the ability to fight in the mountains. And General Marshall thought about it and said yes. And so they started forming the 10th Mountain Division. But it wasn't called the 10th Mountain Division. It was called the 10th Division Light Alpine, and it began without a mountain tab. But by November 1944, it was authorized the mountain tab, and it was into Italy to do some of the heaviest fighting in the Italian mountains against tough German resistance. And it fought 2 campaigns there and a lot of very heavy fighting. So today we're going to take a look at the background of the division insignia. We're going to take a look at the crest of the 85th, 87th, and 86th Mountain Infantry Regiments, and why one regiment has 3 campaign stars and the other has only 2, the other 2. And we'll also take a look at all of the awards authorized members of the 10th Mountain Division, and the awards that were distributed or awarded to the entire members of the division for valor, and we'll take a look at their casualties and prisoners of war. I think you'll find it very interesting, and I hope it will lead you to take a deeper look at the famous 10th Mountain Division, which is back on active duty in the Army today and has been gaining a lot of campaign credits. All right, let's get going. The 10th Mountain Division, the Mountaineer Division, was activated in July of 1943 with the headquarters at Camp Hale, Colorado, as the 10th Division Light, but was redesignated to Mountain on November 1944. Individuals who were especially qualified as skiers, woodsmen, or mountaineers, or had similar backgrounds were actively recruited and assigned to the division. The shoulder patch for the 10th Mountain Division was approved in January of 1944, and the mountain tab was approved in November 1944. The blue background of the patch and the bayonet suggests the infantry, the original designation of the division. And the bayonets also form a Roman number X, or 10, representing the unit's number. The overall design of the patch is in the shape of a powder keg, suggesting the division's explosive power, and the colors are red, white, and blue, the national colors. The patch to the right is the Headquarters and Headquarters Company patch, and then to your right are the various distinctive unit insignia of the 85th, 86th, and 87th Mountain Infantry Regiments, and we'll talk to them in detail in a moment. The 10th Mountain Division entered combat 8 January 1945 in Italy, and it fought in the mountains of Italy in some of the roughest terrain in World War II. By May 1945, the division had reached Austria and just beyond the Reschen Pass, where it made contact with German forces being pushed south by the U.S. 7th Army. A division earned 2 campaign stars, as shown here, and those campaign stars would have gone on the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, as shown to the right. So now we'll take a look at the distinctive unit insignia of the Mountain Infantry Regiments, and we'll start with the 85th Mountain Infantry Regiment. According to the World War II order of battle, the 85th Infantry Regiment did not have a distinctive unit insignia in World War II. But if you look close at the second distinctive unit insignia, that It is a World War II design with the ram's head at the top and the Colorado Mountains in the distance. The design to the right was approved in 1951, and the ram head shows or represents their mountaineering skills. The white mountains, the fact that they're a mountain division, and the green jackboot, well, that represents Italy. And there, of course, their motto, fixed bayonets. Look at the soldiers of the 86th Mountain Infantry Regiment tell you that they had some unique transportation arrangements. Not every unit had pack mules to carry their equipment. According to official War Department records, the 86th Infantry Regiment did not have a unit crest or distinctive unit insignia in World War II. However, if you look at the shield, the third shield, that is a representation of the 86th Infantry Regiment distinctive unit insignia from World War II. The crest on the left and right of the World War II variation was approved in 1951, and the shield is in the color of the infantry, and the ordinary Fury peaks are symbolic of the mountains in which the regiment fought in Italy in World War II. Their motto is courage and dependability. The 87th Mountain Infantry Regiment took a roundabout way to get to Italy because it participated in the Aleutian Campaign, and it got credit for the landings at Kesca Prime being assigned to the 10th Mountain Division. So the 10th Mountain Division did not get the credit, only the 87th Mountain Infantry Regiment. The 87th Mountain Infantry Battalion was activated in November 1941, and it was the first American unit of mountain troops. The regiment was reorganized as the 87th Mountain Infantry Regiment, and in 1942 it moved to Camp Hale, Colorado, where it joined the 10th Mountain Division. In July of 1943, the regiment sailed to the Aleutian Islands as part of an amphibious task force, number 9, and that also included the 1st Special Service Force and the 13th Canadian Infantry Brigade. In December 1943, it returned to Camp Carson, Colorado, and rejoined the 10th Mountain Division, and then reported to Italy with the division. The unit crest is shown on the left, and the distinctive unit insignia, which were approved in 1951, is shown on the right. The Latin motto reads, "We conquer powers and mountains," and the shield bears a snow-capped mountain to represent both the region where the organization first received its specialized training and the normal home of mountain troops. The cross ski pole and ice axe are symbolic of the tools used by mountain troops, while the horseshoe indicates the pack element of the organization. The fact that the 87th Mountain Infantry Regiment was the first organization of its kind is indicated by the single red horseshoe. Be advised, they use mules and not horses. In this picture, you can see members of the division used not only the M1, but they also had a preference for captured German weapons. In addition to the 4 mountain infantry regiments, the division had 3 field artillery battalions using 75mm pack howitzers. Most divisions had 4 field artillery battalions, but the 10th only had 3. But it did have an anti-tank battalion, a 10th Cav recon troop, the 126th Mountain Engineer Battalion, the 10th Mountain Medical Battalion, and the 110th Mountain Signal Company. And on the far right is a very rare copy of a 110th Mountain Signal Company patch. After some of the most difficult and worst mountain fighting of the war in the Italian mountains, April 1945, the 10th Mountain Division spearheaded the 5th Army drive that eventually destroyed German resistance in Italy, but not without significant casualties. The 10th Mountain Division had over 4,000 total battle casualties, with over 990 troops killed in action, 3,000 wounded, and 28 missing in action, and they lost 28 men as prisoners of war. All of the officers, non-commissioned officers, and enlisted men of the 10th Mountain Division earned the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal with 1 or 2 campaign stars. The soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division were awarded 1 Medal of Honor, 3 Distinguished Service Crosses, 1 Distinguished Service Medal, 449 Silver Star Medals, 7 Legion of Merits,
15 soldier medals and over 7,000 Bronze Star medals. The division itself was awarded 2 campaign streamers. Every officer and enlisted man of the 10th Mountain Division who fought in Italy would have earned the American Campaign Medal, the European, African, Middle East Campaign Medal, and the Victory Medal as shown here, along with the appropriate marksmanship. The badges were awarded for marksmanship, sharpshooter, and expert, and many of them had multiple qualification bars. In fact, there were almost 20 qualification bars for the various marksmanship awards. In addition to the 3 basic medals already shown, almost all of the enlisted men would have earned the Good Conduct Medal as shown here. The Good Conduct Medal, the American Campaign Medal, the ETO Medal, and the Victory Medal. Most infantry soldiers would go home with these 4 ribbons on their chest. Now today, every combat infantryman and combat medic would also be authorized the Bronze Star Medal for meritorious service as shown here. Today, a combat infantryman or combat medic of the 10th Mountain Division would have a display case that looks like this. I need to point out that the Bronze Star is only awarded during combat, and it can be awarded for valor with a V device or without the V device for meritorious service. So you can see at the ribbons at the top that the Bronze Star has been awarded for valor, but it would have an oak leaf device to include the one authorized for meritorious service. Point out here that a combat infantryman or combat medic of the 10th Mountain Division who had been wounded would have a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign, the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign, and the Victory Medal, but they would not have the Army of Occupation Medal because the 10th Mountain Division was redeployed to the United States in preparation for the invasion of Japan.
Thanks for joining us today for our show on the 10th Mountain Division in World War II. I hope it will encourage you to look into the history of the 10th Mountain Division and its fighting in Italy. It is something to read about. And also to admire what the 10th Mountain Division does today in defending America. So, see you next time on Veterans Medals Workshop, and please subscribe, it'll keep us on the air. Bye-bye. If you want to know more about United States Army medals, badges, and insignia, from the Revolution to today, we've been publishing these books for over 30 years. And this is our latest edition. It's available for you on Amazon, but it could be in your house in 2 or 3 days.